Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video, we will be discussing about Greek Golden Visa, how to apply, what are the requirements, and investment options. We are here with Ahmet Şener, who is an investment consultant. Ahmet, could you please give us a brief guide of the Greek Golden Visa?
As you know, the Greek Golden Visa program is one of the most popular residency and citizenship programs around the world. The Greek Golden Visa allows investors who invest 250,000 euros or 500,000 euros in designated areas to be eligible for the Golden Visa program, which gives you unrestricted access to the Schengen zone. So, Ece, let's say we made the investment. Who in our family is qualified for getting the Greek Golden Visa?
Actually, Greek Golden Visa, a Golden Visa that allows the most applicant numbers amongst other Golden Visas. So, investor's spouse, and children, investors' mother and father, investors' spouses' mother and father. So basically, 3 families are able to exercise their rights that is coming from this Golden Visa program.
I don't know if it's a good sales point or not, because I know some people who would rather apply to another program than get their mother-in-law inside their own residency and citizenship investment. Just saying. Of course, depends on the mother-in-law in question.
Well, they can exercise their rights separately.
I see. So suppose I got the Greek Golden Visa. Is there a mandatory stay requirement or a minimum stay I need to spend in Greece?
Not at all. It's a passive investment. You don't have to be in Greece to exercise this right. So you can keep your residency card as a travel insurance, as a mobility insurance, and you can use this right whenever you want. So you can stay in your own country or wherever you'd like to and keep this residence card in hand and use this entry permit whenever you like to.
So in the Greek Golden Visa program, are there any restrictions as to where I can invest? I'm asking this because I would love our viewers to know, differentiate between the restrictions we had in the Portuguese Golden Visa program as compared to the Greek Golden Visa program.
Actually, yes, there is. In the central of Athens, Thessaloniki, and also islands of Mykonos and Santorini, investment amount is 500,000 euros. But this will start at 15th of July. So actually there is a small gap if there are potential investors to use this opportunity. But after 15th of July, investment minimum amount of these areas will be 500,000 euros. And the rest of the Greece, anywhere you like, the investment amount will stay 250,000 euros.
I see. So the Greek Golden Visa, can you give us an overview of the advantages of the Greek Golden Visa program, please?
So this program is actually most beneficial for people who hold passports where there is no Schengen access. But if we were to compare a Schengen visa and a residency permit, they're not the same strength. A Schengen visa needs to be renewed in a shorter amount of periods. And as a Turkish person, I know it's a very tedious process. It's like a project planning. And also, in times of restrictions, we have seen it in COVID times, if there is a political emergency. Of course, the Schengen visas will be the first things that will be affected by the circumstances. However, a residency permit is given to you by the Greek government directly. It's given for 5 years and renewable every 5 years.
I see. So while we're talking about the renewals, does the Greek Golden Visa eventually lead to a citizenship?
Theoretically, yes. However, we're talking about investors who do not necessarily want to live in Greece permanently. So if you do not live there permanently and speak fluently Greek, it's not very possible. So if you plan to move there, learn the language, have organic ties with the country, yes, you have the right to apply. But for people who think of this as a mobility insurance, I don't think it will lead to citizenship. However, even though you didn't take the citizenship route or you couldn't take the citizenship route, residency is more strong than regular visa. Schengen visa will not help you to get a bank account or it will not help you when you open a company there. But with a residency, you will be able to access to the banking system. The bureaucratic processes will be much easy when you have a residency and you start a company in Greece.
So technically, of course, you can try to open a bank account in Greece. The fact that you are about to enter the process of the Greek Golden Visa makes everything so much easier. So if you were to walk into a banking branch, as a tourist in Greece, the likelihood of you being able to open your bank account without friction is quite small. But with the golden visa, you are just like the residents over there. You're just like the citizens, with the exception that you are not able to vote, perhaps. But it makes your job and life considerably easier when seeking banking services. And on top of that, with the way things are going in the world, I expect banking services to be less and less accessible if you are a non-resident of the Eurozone.
Another advantage is, of course, the ease of doing business. So, the residency permit doesn't grant you a work permit. However, for someone who is out of Schengen zone, it's very difficult to job hunt because you can't even go to the interview. But if you are there, more and more employers will see you as a stronger candidate.
On top of this, imagine you're a businessman or a businesswoman looking for opportunities in the Eurozone. Let's say one of your buyers invite you to a very urgent meeting in person. You cannot go through the hoops of applying to a visa at this point. You need to be able to jump on a plane, go to your target country, be it Germany, Italy, Spain. You can access all these countries with the golden visa in your pocket. So you need to be able to go there, shake those hands, and close the business. And I think by far, for business people, this is the most important advantage of the Greek golden visa.
It's also not just about the business. Let's say you're retired or you're working remotely. So you can stay in a Schengen zone country 90 days in a 180 days. So you can stay 3 months in Germany, 3 months in Italy, 3 months in Portugal, and you can be traveling like this without limits.
So most of our investors think the Greek golden visa, achieving the Greek golden visa, is a daunting and extremely complicated task. Can you just break this down into the first step of the program? What do I do as a first step? And how long till I get my card?
Actually, most of the work will be done by the lawyer.
Yeah.
So first thing they need to do is issue a power of attorney. First, they will get a tax ID. A bank account will be opened. This process takes approximately 3 weeks. And afterwards, provided that the investment option is already decided, in 2 months, the residency card will be ready.
So this is one of the reasons why the Greek golden visa as well as the Spanish golden visa is quite popular. Because when compared to the other candidate, Portugal, which is a program that gives you your golden visa in about 1.5 years. It's a long process. But Greek golden visa and Spanish golden visa, they're quite fast. It's almost like an impulse purchase. You just buy it and in 2 months you will have your card in your back pocket and Schengen zone is basically your back garden.
So we have briefly discussed about the legal actions to take and the steps to take to get the golden visa. Let's delve into the real estate part. So let's compare it with the Turkish real estate market. And let's look at Athens and Thessaloniki, the central areas for now, because investors still have 1 month of time to invest in these places with a lower minimum investment amount. So let's compare it with Istanbul. How are the rental return and investment amounts?
So it's certainly more attractive because in Istanbul we are going through what is called yield compression right now. When property prices appreciate really fast, the yields do not catch up. So the percentage will compress. It will be smaller. And that's what we are going through in Istanbul. But theoretically, by selling your property in Istanbul, it's quite easy to get in something that could give you a very solid return in Athens or Thessaloniki even. But what are these returns? In Istanbul, again, most of the market is around 4% yearly return. And it's denominated in Turkish liras, of course. But when you go to Greece, right now, because the prices still haven't caught up since the economic crisis, but by the way, it's been more than a decade since the economic crisis, but they are still rebounding. But because of this, there is still an opportunity. The yields in any part in long-term rentals is more than 4% in Athens. We can typically get from short-term rentals up to 7.5% in Athens. And 7.5% anywhere in the world, that's an amazing return. So basically, once you, like in Turkey, perhaps you have invested already and you're about to sell, you've got your capital appreciation and your property increases in price. Now it's time to deploy that cash in Greece so that you can have a stable, hard currency rental return. Turkey is an amazing capital appreciation market, but I think Greece right now, especially with the really rebounding real estate market, it's a great place for seeking yields.
And I think the higher percentages can be gained by the short-term rentals.
Definitely. So we have some package portfolios in Athens. For example, 3 units, very small, almost studios, but you have multiple of them. Golden visa packages that if you were to purchase today, yield you a net 8% return, and that's after deducting the fees you will pay to your daily rentals management company. So it's, as you suggested, the short-term rentals right now, they're in an amazing place. But just one word of warning, daily rentals all around Europe, they are under attack constantly. In Greece, this process haven't started yet, but there can be restrictions as to where you can do daily rentals. So it's best to pick where you're investing with pre-research knowledge on where those locations can be.
So we're talking about a housing crisis in Turkey, especially in Istanbul. So there are some limitations about long-term rental agreements, and there's a restriction on the yearly increase amount. So do you think this type of government intervention is expected in Greece?
So very tough question to answer. But as it stands, there is still not a huge crisis as similar to what happened in Portugal, Spain, to some extent in Italy. So there is not a housing crisis as of now in Athens, especially. In Thessaloniki, by the way, you can easily find a place for a good rent, a large unit that can fit you. There is no housing crisis over there. Athens, we are seeing the beginning of it. But the construction businesses in Athens, they are rebounding. If you were to go there today, you would see cranes all around the city building new locations, and they are quite agile. So as opposed to Portugal, Spain, and Italy, they are faster to build. So I don't expect a situation to arise that would warrant a government intervention. But again, you never know these things because it's very attractive. You can win votes by such interventions. But thankfully, the Greek elections are over. So coming back to your question, I think we're safe for 3-4 years at least.
Thank you for the explanation. I think it's very good to know because specifically Athens is the culture capital of Europe. So people from Germany bring their kids in their spring breaks to see the museums. So the tourism is actually a 4-season flow there.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Athenian real estate market is booming. Because there is always a demand, as opposed to Portugal, Spain, who attract their visitors mostly in the summer and springtime. But in Athens, yes, you have that 4-season tourism that provides a stable flow of tourists, keeping the demand in hotels as well as daily rentals up. So that's one of the reasons. And the other reason is that there aren't many attractive real estate markets left to invest in Europe. Portugal, we're going through the high cycle. Spain, same story. Italy, prices have never been higher. When you go to Germany, same thing. France, same thing. But you have Athens market over there that is rebounding. So it's one of the very few markets in Europe. There is still room for capital appreciation. So all year round tourism, and the fact that other markets cannot make you more money make this market really attractive.
Sounds very good. But I want to ask, is there a chance Greek Golden Visa program to be shut down?
Technically, let's speculate a bit, but I don't think any of the Golden Visa programs that we have right now will be available in 2026. They will either change drastically or they will be completely eliminated. But here is the deal. Greece have one thing going on for them. They are the mischievous kid of the European Union. They can always just go, oh, we're very dependent on this money, we just rebounded from the economic crisis. Do you want to put us back to economic crisis? So they can fight back against the European Union. Let's get one thing straight. Nobody wants to ruin their economy again, and nobody wants to bail out Greece again, especially in this time of recession in the Eurozone. So I think Greece is the safest program when it comes to European Union's pressure and potentially closing down the program.
And I think their procedure of not giving citizenship very easily is a great way to legitimize their program.
Definitely. We can only speculate as to why European Union got very picky about programs, but I think not giving the citizenship to those who do not live inside the European zone is an argument not to close the program.
So approximately in a month, the minimum investment amount will be increased in Thessaloniki, Athens, central areas, and Santorini and Mykonos. So what will happen? Which areas do you think will gain the most popularity after this change?
I think it's very straightforward as to what will happen. We saw the same movie in Portugal, where after they limited the purchase of residential real estate in the coastal zone, what happened was that the interior zones got very popular. But a few of the cities were no-brainers for investors. But what happened was that, yes, we had to invest in slightly worse off locations, slightly out of the center. But at the end of the day, these locations, these secondary locations, created their own economy due to the intense interest brought on by Golden Visa investors. Because 250,000 euro minimum will always be attractive to a group of investors. Because comparatively speaking, it's not that big amount of money. You can just sell off one of your units in Istanbul. If you have already gotten the Turkish citizenship and it's time to sell, you can just convert it into a Greek property. So basically there is a district very close to Athens that's called Piraeus, and you can technically take a tram and be there in 30 minutes. And that area, which used to be part of the Athens municipality, is still eligible for the 250k. And on top of that, you can just go to the northern side and invest in Halkidiki. It will still be 250,000 euros because, like, by the way, even right now I would invest in Halkidiki if I were to go north rather than investing in Thessaloniki city center. So it will create its own economy. It's not the end of the world. But of course, any investment in the center of Athens will have more liquidity. It will have a better and more foreseeable revenue potential for the investors. But again, as I said, not the end of the world. And where you invest will still be very straightforward.
But I think with this change, the program loses its flexibility because current legislation says you can combine 2 or 3 properties together. So you explained to us, it's one of the options. You can get a summer house in Halkidiki or Tassos maybe, and you can get a winter house that is suitable for Airbnb, and you can use one and you can rent the other one. But with the new legislation, you need to buy just one property.
Definitely. But this will be the case of most programs around the world. I think still, despite all the rules and regulations strangling the Golden Visa programs, it's still very flexible. But as you pointed out correctly, Greek Golden Visa program is losing part of its flexibility. So, and this will be the trend. It will be the same for the Spanish Golden Visa. It will perhaps be, Italy can be a different scenario, but Latvia, most likely they will lose some of their flexibility. This will continue to be the trend. So I hate to say this because we are consultants helping people get golden visas. I hate to say this, but moving today is better than moving tomorrow. So if you have the plans, if you have set up your mind to do it, just do it already, because tomorrow it might not be so easy.
Thank you, Ahmet, for the detailed explanation and foresight regarding the real estate. Thank you for watching this far. If you like this content, please like the video and subscribe to our channel.
Also, if you would like a private consulting session, click the link on the description of this video and fill out the form, and somebody in our team will reach out to you directly. Thank you. See you on the next video.